Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I didn't make a video yesterday or maybe even the day before because I didn't have any updates on the status of my mother's health. And although I have a lot of videos that I could be making, I just wanted to just stay on focus of what's going on with my mother. But yesterday, my sister got a message from my mother's friend who's actually been going to visit my mother pretty much every day at the hospital. And I think she's one of the people that is allowed to get information on my mother's health status. I believe it's my brother and my stepfather are the ones who are allowed to say whether or not uh, somebody can be given information about my mother. But I guess my sister is kind enough to forward the messages on to me. But the simple fact, my stepfather, I don't think he can forward the messages on to me. What I understand is he's deaf, hard of hearing, and I don't know how IT literate he is to be able to send text messages to people. The last I heard about my stepfather is he's not very happy in the house with my mother not there. And it's a big house. It's a big house. Because if you watch my previous videos, you'll know that my mother has lots of possessions. So it's a big house. So he's rambling around that house all on his own. I don't know how often he goes to see my mother because I haven't been given that information. But he is in his late 80s. And I don't know if he's even still able to drive. My brother's not messaging me. My brother's just doesn't care to communicate with me. He wouldn't want to communicate with me anyway, but there's reasons for that as well. So the only person who really is communicating with me is my sister. And the thing is like my mother's friend, she never responded to the message that I sent her on her phone, and she never even told my sister that my sister could give her give me her number. So I can't use her number. I'd have to go through and look through all the messages and see if I could find the number, but I don't want to message her or phone her if my sister didn't have permission to give her that data. But accordingly, my mother's friend sent my sister a message yesterday and said that she still can't swallow. They still haven't done a swallow test, so she's still on a feeding tube. So they removed the feeding tube once, and then for reasons I don't know, they didn't give her the swallow test, and they put the feeding tube back in. And I guess it's difficult to put all these tubes in a person's body, but I guess she's back in the feeding tube now, and she's getting her nutrition from the feeding tube because she can't swallow. But yesterday they were talking to my mother's friend, and they said that they want to move her onto another floor, and it's called the acute long stay ward. So apparently my mother's going to be in the hospital for a long time, and that's one of the things that they told my brother. The doctor told my brother that my mother would have a very long rehabilitation because obviously they had to fuse the vertebrae C1 to C2 together. So that's got to heal. And I don't know what they've done about this bleed on the brain. Nobody said anything about any bleed on the brain, what they've done. But the bleed on the brain may very well be what caused my mother to become dizzy and to fall in the first place. I'm not sure. And then so basically yeah, so they're talking about moving my mother to another floor, to the acute long stay ward, and then she'll have like a team of nurse practitioners, LPNs, registered nurses, LPNs, physical therapists, and doctors as well, looking after her. But I guess it will be less intense than the ICU, because ICU is a lot more intense. And then this adult acute long stay ward, I guess it won't be as expensive as the ICU, because I'm sure the ICU is really expensive. I asked my sister about the medical bills. How are these medical bills going to work out? But my sister said that my mother's on, I think, Blue Cross or some government medical. So I don't know if my stepdad is going to have to pay any bills up front. And then the thing is that you can top up your medical insurance to where you don't have to pay anything extra. But I don't know. I know that my mother historically has spent most of her free time at the doctor's office, going to see doctors and things like that. So I don't know if she had a special top-up insurance policy where she wouldn't have to pay any extra money when she went to see doctors or have a procedure. So I'm not sure how these medical bills are going to work out. I know that they do have medical insurance because she's elderly, but if she has to pay anything like a copay or something like that, I have no idea. No idea. So I don't know how these medical bills are going to work out, and if they're going to mount up, and if they're going to put pressure on my mother to get out of the hospital earlier than she's able to get out of the hospital. I don't know. One thing that did happen that my mother's friend said is that one day she wasn't able to see her early in the morning, so she went by at about 9 or 9:30, and my mother was able to ask her where she was. So my mother is actually aware of the time. I don't know if anybody's telling her the time, or she can see a clock or something like that. But my mother is aware of the time. She's aware of people coming to visit her. She's aware of the times that people are coming to visit her. So I don't know if I'll get to see my mother again. Like if my niece goes to see my mother, maybe she'll phone me on Facebook Messenger so I can see her on Facebook Messenger, because that's normally what happens. When my sister went to see my mother, she would call me on Facebook Messenger and I could see my mother, but nobody else is. I mean, my brother, he's a director of a hospital. I'm not going to say the name of the town and the name of the hospital, but he's a director of a hospital in Arkansas. And so he certainly could phone me on Facebook Messenger so I could see my mother. And my mother's friend, she owns an IT business, so she certainly would know how to phone me on Facebook Messenger. But these people don't seem to be too particularly interested in whether I'm able to see my mother on Facebook Messenger. So that concludes this video. That concludes this update on the status of what's going on with my mother. they're talking about moving her to the acute long-stay ward, and she still has a feeding tube in place. They haven't done the swallow test yet, so we just have to wait until they do a swallow test and find out what happened, what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and close this video now. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching my video. It means a lot to me that you take an interest in my life, as pathetic as it may be.